Welcome, everyone, to the Apoco-Larry podcast. I'm Steve.
Oh, I forgot what I was going to be this time, Steve.
Oh, what would you like to be?
I'm happy with Dr. Van Beek. I
I
like
think
Dr.
you should be happy with because he's a wonderful person, I hear.
I really enjoy him
yeah, yeah.
on most days.
Word on the street is he's a wonderful man. So here we are, my friend. Another chapter of 1 Samuel, this time 1 Samuel 17.
Yes, and David and Goliath, the story everybody knows.
Yep. So, folks, like Larry said in our pre-roll, it's a little bit long, but it's pretty straightforward. So let's dive in.
Okay.
Verse 1, of course. Now the Philistines gathered their forces for war and assembled them at Skoa in Judah. They pitched a camp at, oh my gosh, here we go again. Ephraim's Damon, between Skoa and Azekah. I might start skipping these. Just be warned, everyone. Saul and the Israelites assembled and camped at the valley of Elah and drew up their battle lines to meet the Philistines. The Philistines occupied one hill and the Israelites another, with a valley.
Okay, so let me just on this.
Yeah.
Not exactly where it is, because that probably won't mean anything. But when they talk about them being on the hills, people get this idea of very like mountainous things with valleys. Think more like prairie hills. Yeah. Yeah. And it was very common to do that because then the generals and the armies could stay up in the hill.
Yep.
And you'd send your army down into this valley area, this flat plain area between the hills, and they could fight and you could watch.
Yeah.
And you could guide it from above. So that's the thing you're looking at, two hills with kind of a flat prairie valley in the middle. And that's actually what it looks like when you look. You can look it up online and get pictures of it.
Okay. Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. Verse 4. A champion named Goliath, who was from Gath, came out of the Philistine camp. His height was 6 cubits and a span. So
that would be 9 feet.
9 feet, yeah.
Yeah.
He had a bronze helmet on his head and wore a coat of scale armor of bronze weighing 5,000 shekels.
Yeah, and they said that's about 150-ish pounds.
Oof.
Yeah.
On his legs, he wore bronze greaves, and a bronze javelin was slung on his back. His spear shaft was like a weaver's rod, and its iron point weighed 600 shekels, which he said is 15 pounds, right?
15 pounds, yeah.
Yep. And his shield bearer went ahead of him.
Okay, so in the Masoretic text that this one's using, the text that the NIV is following, and most of the Bibles follow that. I think they all do. They say that Goliath was about 9 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
If you read in the Qumran or in Josephus, who probably picked it up from the Qumran, they'll say that he was 6'9". So quite a bit shorter. But all of them seem to still say that the head of his spear was 15 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I were talking about that. And a 15-pound spear, like the head of a spear, 15 pounds. A normal sledgehammer is about 8 pounds. And you get 9, 10, 11, 12-pound sledges.
Yeah.
And I think I swung a 12-pound sledge when I was in construction. I could not throw a 12-pound sledgehammer.
I can barely pick up a 12-pound sledgehammer.
So no matter how tall he was unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof.
And some people just don't like the idea of him being 9 feet. I'm fine if he was 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But 6'9" could probably work as well. Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
Okay. Verse 8. Goliath stood and shouted to the ranks of Israel, "Why do you come and line up for battle? Am I not a Philistine, and are you not the servants of Saul? Choose a man and have him come down to me. If he is able to fight and kill me, we will become your subjects. But if I overcome him and kill him, you will become our subjects and serve us." Then the Philistine said, "This day I defy the armies of Israel. Give me a man and let us fight each other." And on hearing the Philistines' words, Saul and all the Israelites were dismayed and terrified. I like dismayed. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. But terrified works.
Yeah, terrified works, but dismayed is kind of understated.
Yeah. You're going to fight a big guy like that. And this wasn't uncommon if you had somebody fabulous to say, yeah, just send someone out and we'll fight him.
Yeah.
If you watch the Greek thing on Achilles, they
Mm-hmm.
brought out their champion. And Achilles fought him, and it wasn't terribly uncommon. But I like that they were terrified. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
now the Philistines, as you recall, so if you're doing David's time, you're around the 10th century,
Mm-hmm.
around 1000 BC. Um, and the Philistines came over about 1200 BC, so they've been in the land for about 200 years,
Okay.
and they've been a big problem for about 200 years.
All 200 years of it.
Yep, yep. And so there they are, just scared out of their minds, and yeah.
Verse 12. Now David was a son of an Ephraite, sorry, close, named Jesse, who was from Bethlehem, who we got introduced in the last chapter, who was from Bethlehem in Judah. Jesse had 8 sons, and in Saul's time he was very old. Jesse's 3 oldest sons had followed Saul to war. The first was Eliab, the second Abinadab, the third is Shammah. David was the youngest. The 3 oldest followed Saul, but David went back and forth from Saul to tend his father's sheep at Bethlehem. For 40 days the Philistine came forward every morning and every evening and took his stand.
Pretty interesting, eh?
Yes.
That they would put up with that, and I don't know why it's 40 days.
Yeah.
Because 40 fits a lot of things in Scripture,
Yeah.
and so the conspiracy theory guys would have some kind of an explanation for that.
Yeah. For
But
sure. Right?
yeah, but I don't know why. I should look up why it's important that it's 40 days of rain, 40 days that Philistines are there. It
Mm.
comes up quite often.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm. Verse 17. Now Jesse said to his son David, take this ephah of roasted grain and 10 loaves of bread to your brothers and hurry to their camp. Take along these 10 cheeses, oh, that's nice, to the
It's a
commander
lot
of
of
their
cheese.
unit.
Yeah.
Yeah. See
I
how
picture the big round Dutch
yeah,
cheeses,
me
the big
too.
round.
He rolled
Yeah.
them all along.
Yeah.
See how your brothers are and bring back some assurance from them. There was Saul and all the men of Israel in the valley of Elah fighting against the Philistines. Early in the morning David left the flock in the care of the shepherd, loaded up and set out as Jesse directed. He reached the camp as the army was going out to its battle positions, shouting the war cry. Israel and the Philistines were drawing up their lines facing each other. David left his things with the keeper of the supplies and ran to the battle lines and asked his brothers how they were. As he was talking with them, Goliath, the Philistine champion from Gath, stepped out from his lines and shouted his usual defiance, and David heard it. Whenever the Israelites saw the man, they all fled from him in great fear. Now the Israelites had been saying, do you see how this man keeps coming out? He comes out to defy Israel. The king will give a great wealth to the man who kills him. He will also give him his daughter in marriage and will exempt his family from taxes in Israel. Sign me up. Um, no, not really. David asked the men standing near him, what will be done for the man who kills the Philistine and removes this disgrace from Israel? David, did you not just hear? Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? So they repeated to him what they had been saying and told him, this is what will be done for the man who kills him. When Eliab, David's oldest brother, heard him speaking with these men, he burned with anger and asked them, why have you come down here? With whom did you leave the few sheep in the wilderness? I know how conceited you are and how wicked your heart is. You only came down to watch the battle.
Now, I think because Eliab, remember, he was the tall, good-looking one,
Yep.
first one that Samuel thought he'd give the stuff to.
Yeah.
But I get the impression, see, other people say, well, David was young and it just annoyed his older brother. But he was also the one that was set up to be king.
Yeah.
What's the word? Anointed. He was the one that was anointed to be king. And I think that grates on Eliab.
Yeah.
So I think David coming, my opinion, David coming and him being so angry had something to do with this anointing of David as well.
I get you.
Yeah.
I get you, because it typically would fall to the oldest if you're going to choose a family, right? So it makes sense. Yeah.
And I love David's response.
Oh, his response is great. Verse 29. Now what have I done? Said David. Can't I even speak? He then turned away to someone else and brought up the same matter, and these men answered him as before. What David said was overheard and reported to Saul, and Saul sent for him. David said to Saul, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." Saul replied, "You are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." David said to Saul, Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by the hair, struck it, and killed it." David was not someone to be trifled with.
Oh no.
"Your servant has killed both the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them, because he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the bear, the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear, will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." Saul said to David, "Go, and the Lord be with you." Then Saul dressed David in his own tunic. He put a coat of armor on him and a bronze helmet on his head. David fastened on his sword over the tunic and tried walking around because he was not used to them. "I cannot go in these," he said to Saul, "because I'm not used to them." So he took them off. Then he took his staff in his hand and chose 5 smooth stones from the stream and put them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag, and with his sling in his hand approached the Philistine.
Yeah. So so obviously, so Saul doesn't know David from anything.
Yep.
And he just knows that this kid says he's going to fight him. He's like, yeah, why not?
Sure.
Why not?
No one else will.
Give us something to do for the day. Tries to put his own armor on him, but Saul was a big man, remember? And David's not big. And so his armor doesn't work. So David goes down to the stream and chooses 5 smooth stones. And I've heard a few times that he chose 5 smooth stones because Goliath had 4 brothers. And he was preparing, not only for Goliath, but if his brothers came for them as well. No, I will say no. I will say no. You choose 5 smooth stones because you don't go into battle just taking one rock. You take a few.
Yeah, David.
You take a few, and it's a good illustration in a sermon.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence of that, and so he just picked up these smooth stones. I also read one of the notes I read said these stones were about the size of a baseball. I don't think that's right.
That seems
For one
a little
thing,
big.
It's not going to do much damage if you hit him in the head with a baseball-sized rock.
Yeah.
Actually, a smaller stone would embed, because it does say it embedded in his head.
Yeah.
And so it's got to be the stone you generally use.
Yeah.
But I saw a guy that's a sling, a guy who does the sling, and on these reels, and it comes like a bullet.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing comes probably like a 22.
Yep.
Out of there. It's coming that hard and that fast. So it is enough to kill him.
Yeah.
And I heard another guy say something that I really liked, but it doesn't fit the story. Because the story is that God guided David to kill Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part you got to remember. But this guy said, actually, David had a more modern weapon.
Mm-hmm.
He had a better weapon. He had a weapon that he could sling at him from a distance.
Right.
And take him down from a distance. And if you've ever watched a show called the Greatest Warrior, the Mightiest Warrior, forgot what it's called now. And these guys would stack up 2 people against each other from different places, and they would fight each other. And the one time they had a knight, full armor and everything, and he fought a pirate. And the pirate beat him, even though the pirate was gunky, but he beat him because he shot him. And so the best weapon wins, right?
Right.
And so he was saying David actually had the best weapon in that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But not necessarily. I mean, you've got to be very accurate.
Yeah.
To hit him right in the forehead.
Yeah.
But then they did say that some of David's guys, they had. Remember, he had how many left-handed slingers that could hit a hair's breadth?
Oh, I don't remember that, but
I
remember the story, but I don't know how many. Yeah.
Yeah, but there were many of these guys. They were of the left-handed guys, which suggested he had right-handed slingers who could do pretty good too.
Yeah.
But he had all these left-handed slingers, and they can be super accurate with these things as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a good story. But the point of the story is that David trusted God, and God gave David the ability to do this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Of course. All right. Perfect. Verse 41. Meanwhile, the Philistine, with his shield bearer in front of him, here you go first. No, kept coming closer to David. He looked David over and
It's sort of
saw.
like golf, eh? It's like you have a caddy.
Yeah, that's right.
You bring like clubs.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, you got the driver?
Yep.
He looked David over and saw that he was a little more than a boy, glowing with health and handsome, and he despised him. These pretty boys that come around all the time with their slings.
Yep. It is annoying.
Yeah. He said,
I too despise them.
that's right. He said to David, "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" And the Philistine cursed David by his gods. "Come here," he said, "and I will give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." David said to the Philistine, "You come at me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord."
And that's where it shows that this is totally God.
Yeah, and David
doing this thing.
Yeah. "This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I will strike you down and cut off your head. This very day I will give the carcasses of the Philistine army to the birds and the wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. All those who gathered here will know that it is not by the sword or the spear that the Lord saves. The battle is the Lord's, and he will give you all into our hands." As the Philistine moved closer to attack him, David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him. Reaching into his bag and taking out a stone, he slung it and struck the Philistine on the forehead. The stone sank into his forehead, and he fell face down into the ground. So David triumphed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone. Without a sword in his hand, he struck down the Philistine and killed him. David ran and stood over him. He took a hold of the Philistine's sword and drew it from its sheath. After he killed him, he cut off his head with the sword. When the Philistines saw
they weren't pleasant people.
No.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit tough.
Yeah, a different time, right? Held to a different standard. So
yeah.
When the Philistines saw that their hero was dead, they turned and ran. Then the men of Israel and Judah surged forward with a shout and pursued the Philistines to the entrance of Gath and to the gates of Ekron. Their dead were strewn among the Shaaraim road to Gath and Ekron. When the Israelites returned from chasing the Philistines, they plundered their camp.
Yeah, remember now Gath and Ekron were two of the main cities of the 5 main cities of the Philistines.
Yeah.
And that's where they chased them. And interesting enough, that this terrified them so badly that the Israelites could just chase them down and kill them, which was exactly what David said was going to happen. I'm going to feed your army to the birds.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. I don't know the size of Goliath's sword, and because his spear was massive, you would have thought his sword would be massive too.
Yeah.
But David was able to handle it, to cut off his head.
Yeah, and we see this later on. Isn't that in Kings where he goes and uses that same sword when he visits the priest or something like that?
Yeah, he gets his sword back when he goes to visit the priests.
Yeah.
And they feed him bread. Remember,
That's right.
Altar bread, which remember Saul got in trouble.
Yeah.
Anyway.
David took verse. Where are we at? 54.
Maybe it wasn't altar bread. Maybe it was just bread that the priests had. I always get the impression it was some holy bread because the priests had it, but they had to eat bread too.
Yeah.
we'll have to check that story again later, see what was going on there.
Verse 54. David took the Philistine's head and brought it to Jerusalem, and he put the Philistines' weapons in his own tent.
I think he didn't put the Philistine's head in his own tent.
Yeah. Whoops, I forgot. Wrong thing. Wake up to that. Oh my gosh, what's that?
Oh my gosh. I'm in an early Godfather.
That's right. That's right. They leave camel's head in your bed, not the horse. We're off track here. That's my fault.
We are off track.
Verse 55. As Saul watched David going out to meet the Philistine, he said to Abner, commander of the army, "Abner, whose son is that young man?" Abner replied, "As surely as you live, your majesty, I don't know." The king said, "Find out whose son that young man is." And as soon as David returned from killing the Philistine, Abner took him and brought him before Saul, still holding the Philistine's head, mind you. Just tucked it under like a football.
Yep.
Whose
little
son
bit
are
tripping.
yeah, whose son are you, young man? Saul asked him. David said, I am the son of your servant Jesse of Bethlehem.
Yeah. Yeah. And the beauty in David's story is he always, everything that happens later on, he always treats Saul like someone he really cared about and respected.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of interesting that way too.
Yeah.
Like he never was, hey, I'm the new king coming in here, sunshine.
Yeah,
Back
that's
off.
right.
Which would have had him killed,
Yeah.
but yeah, but he always 125 pounds is the armor. I said 150. The but he always cared about Saul,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is intrigues me.
Treat him
Yeah,
with respect regardless. Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
so that's our story for today, boys and girls.
Folks, as always, we love doing this for you. My friend, thank you for the wisdom that you gave us into this story that we've read hundreds of times, but we didn't know some of the little nuances in here. Nor did we know the completely ludicrous story of David picking up 5 stones for the 4 brothers. My
Yep.
gosh. Anyway, uh, we're we're thankful that we could do this for you. Thanks for just joining us on this. We'll be back again next week with another story from 1 Samuel.
Yeah.
Until then, I was Steve, he was Larry, and this was